What's up? Thank you so much for joining. I am so excited to introduce you to one of my really good friends. He is an incredible songwriter, a genius lyricist, almost frustrating how good he is, just being honest. A great vocalist and a way better person. I'm so excited for you to get to see a window into his brain, how he operates as an artist, more importantly, who he is as a person. So let's do this thing. Sajan Nauriyal. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself for the people that don't know you or whatever, go ahead.
I'm Sajan. I make music, and I'm half Indian. In case you're wondering. I don't know, it's just an interesting fact. It's like one of those things that people are like, that guy's not all the way white.
He looks Spanish.
He's mostly white, but there's something in there. It's not white. So I'm half Indian, and I spent the last 4 years getting to hang out with this guy a lot, and he is one of my best friends.
I'm honored. So, first question I have is people's expectations of you, whether it's families or friends, and then how do you deal with that? Because I think that that's something that's maybe not talked about a lot. I think it is something that is just kind of happening in the background. Mm-hmm. I know in my life, for instance, expectations, they're just there. I didn't know that they were there. Mm-hmm. Then I learned oh, that's what this actually is, Yeah. It wasn't a new thing. It was oh, that's what this word belongs with this
thing I've been feeling forever.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so I would love to know kind of your thoughts on how you deal with that and what your thoughts are in regards to that.
Yeah. I mean, there's something, expectations in general, I feel like is something I've been trying to learn about. Just because, even in communication, because we just got married, almost a year ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But, and I talk a lot about that in, communication stuff of, just in terms of, unspoken expectations and just the existence of expectations, let alone, then seeing, the expectations that I have and the expectations that other people might try to put on me or whatever that is. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everybody deals with a lot of expectations. Everyone has expectations placed on them. Sure. But I think that, at least for me, it's been a thing. I have not traditionally been good at I'm a people pleaser, I think, or I tend to, side that way. And so, I tend to want to fulfill all the expectations that people put on me, even if they're not what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. Mm. And I remember it was it was while we were working together. I think it was 2 years ago or something, and I was going through a ton of anxiety and just crazy stuff in my mind, and I felt super stressed out. And I was talking to McKay about how I was feeling, and she was like, "I feel like you just have all these hooks that are in your chest, and they're pulling it apart," which is kind of a gruesome picture. I don't like that. But and each one was attached to a person that was doing someone had put a hook and was pulling it. Wow. And so, and it's not, the thing is it's not it's my responsibility. That was the first time I realized. I was this is actually my responsibility, because all the people in the world could try to put expectations on me, but it's my responsibility to actually do something with that, or not do something with that. And so that was I think for me the beginning of my journey, trying to just, well, for one thing, be well, this is causing me a lot of stress and making my life terrible because I'm trying to fulfill all these expectations that aren't even maybe pertinent to my life at all. They're just things. And the other thing in that is I realized everybody got an opinion. Everybody got an opinion.
Man. They stink. I'm just kidding.
Everybody. No, but it's true. Seriously, and even well-meaning people, they still have an opinion. They still want you to do something, and that's so. I think for me, I'm still obviously on this journey, but trying to really get down to people that care about me a lot have an opinion. People that don't care about me and want to see me fall have an opinion. Wow. But regardless, I have to make a decision based on what I'm feeling led to do, instead of instead of feeling attached or feeling codependent or feeling oh, well, this person means well, so I have to accept every expectation that they place on me. With parents, I feel that happens a lot. They're oh, well, they mean well, right? But or maybe they don't mean well. But in my case, I feel like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, they mean well, whoever it is, whatever figure is, like, they mean well, so I feel like I have to fulfill every expectation, everything that they put on me, and just realizing that I don't. At the end of the day, regardless of what anybody says, I have to, have boundaries with that, and put boundaries around what I really feel like led to do.
Wow.
So,
Dang. That's good. So then another question along with expectations that I have is, how do you do that then with expectations for yourself? Because I think that's another big thing that no one ever talks about.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge. Maybe, how about, let's just start with music. In regards to music, how do you do that?
I think I try to let go. I'm trying to let go of my having expectations. It's not that it's bad to have expectations, but I'm trying to let go of like setting a standard that is like that equates something as like this is success and this is failure.
Wow.
Because I don't think that it's that way. I don't think it has to be like we don't have to define everything as like success. And like for me, like, because it would be easy to get down about like, with music, for example, like it's the way songs perform or whatever, like you're always like, there's going to be times when stuff doesn't like do what you think it does, whether that's a good or a bad thing. Like I feel like there's like I definitely have put expectations on myself, like this has to get X streams or this has to get X response, and I think I've just been trying to let go of that, because I put a lot of expectations on myself in a lot more than just music, but like I think I put a lot of expectations on myself specifically for music, like that it fulfills a certain thing, that it feels successful. But I think detaching myself from that has been helpful, because to me expectation feels like voice, like it's like saying what you want without doing the work to get there. Because if it's a goal and you're like, this is my goal, and you didn't meet it, then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna alter whatever, we're gonna make changes that we need to make, and then continue progressing towards the goal, instead of just being like, I expect myself to be, have achieved this level of whatever. I feel like that's just unnecessary. For me, that's pressure I don't need.
Yes,
and like at all. Man. I think I need to just like, and this is helping me right now in my mind. But like, just so much, just like I don't need to put expectations on myself at all.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody needs to do that. Expectation feels like restriction.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the thing you were saying when you were talking about even other people's expectations. Like having goals, I think is a good thing. I feel like the distinction is because you choose to do it.
Yes.
And instead of being like, an expectation to me is, I'm doing this because I feel obligated to, whether I'm putting that obligation on myself or someone else is. But having a goal is like, no, I have looked at the situation, and I am making the choice out of my own, desire, out of my own will, to say I want to do this. And that way that you don't have the pressure. I don't know. And it's just it feels overall healthier.
That's so freaking good. I'll move on to the next thing. So kind of similar, I think it kind of can tie into it, is anxiety, which is clearly, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's been around for a long time. My thought is it seems kind of like with social media, and really not social media, that's just a byproduct of technology. So with the age we live in and everything is accessible instantly.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't live being anxious.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really specific I want to know except for just your thoughts and your experience, and anything you think is worth sharing, because I know I've had my own. I think everyone probably has had their own version of it. Even just becoming aware of it, like most of this, I feel like is huge. Anyway, so I'm just curious your thoughts around it.
Yeah. I'd heard the term thrown around a lot in recent years, obviously, because it's been a big topic. I feel like it's like an epidemic, like everybody.
Totally.
It's so bad.
It's almost like a thing to have now. It's like, it's not like being a victim is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I got anxiety.
I mean, like, that's not something that you want to stick around.
Right. It's like, bro, I got cancer. Okay, cool, man.
Seriously. It's like, that's not, I don't think that, and this is, for me, speaking from a place of even just like recently, very recently, as you've seen, dealing with extreme anxiety, like I don't think that it's something to be like I don't think it should be okay. Not in the sense like it's okay to like walk through it, but I don't think it should be like a thing deemed as like, oh, it's fine, just like be anxious and live with it. Like I think it should be treated with the same care that you would if you had a terminal illness or something,
So
like
good.
because it is that debilitating. It can be that debilitating. And
Yeah.
like at least for me. And like yeah, so like long story short, I feel like obviously like part of my journey, like I had experienced like kind of like symptoms of anxiety, but I wouldn't have attributed it to that. And until a few years ago when I started like my body started kind of freaking out. And if you've ever had a panic attack, it's hard to kind of explain really what it is, but you'll know if you've had one.
Hopefully you won't have one.
Yes. So like I started having panic attacks, and then like another thing too is like I think anxiety, at least like, and you've also seen this too, is not, we tend to compartmentalize it as like it's only like my mind. And that's why people that haven't experienced it, I feel like they don't get it, and they're like just think normally.
Right.
And they're like, you don't understand that like my entire body is like melting down.
Wow.
Like so I even like with stuff with like my health, like I've had like certain just struggles walking through health, and trying to get to like healing in places with my even just like my eating, and like there's all these different things. And I realized that a lot of that had to do with anxiety. As much of a part as like it was like a medical issue, a lot of it was an anxiety issue. And
wow.
so yeah, like obviously I'm on a journey with that, and like I love the thing you said about expectation, like just that conversation about expectations, because it like even right now as I'm sitting here, like there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves all the time.
It's so true.
And I'm like, why? And I don't even notice it. I'm like, why am I? And then my anxiety, I think, because my anxiety, at least in my life, comes from a place of trying to control something that I can't control.
So true.
And so I subconsciously even will just have this intense pressure that either I'm putting on myself, or someone's putting on, that's like, be okay, or that you better not screw this up, or whatever. And maybe I don't even realize that this is going on in my mind, but like, and then I have start getting this anxiety builds up because I'm afraid that I can't control that. Wow. So I'm afraid of like, oh, what if I'm not okay, what if I mess this up, what if I can't live up to whatever I'm supposed to do, because it always comes up in places where I feel like I don't have the ability to control, or it feels like a long shot, like where I want control but I can't have it. And instead of me just being like, well, what if I F this up? That's okay, man. Like
seriously, more people need to say that.
Yeah,
including
like
myself.
I might just screw this up and it's totally cool.
Yeah, because what's the worst that's gonna happen?
Totally.
You grow and learn and change.
Exactly. Yeah. And instead of treating that like the ultimate, failure.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, man. That's so good. Like, I feel like I'm realizing that more every day, where it's like, why do I try to control everything? I don't need to be safe, and I don't need to like, I want to spend less of my life trying to manage anxiety, and more of my life just letting go of control and doing what I feel led to, and walking in, my, like the destiny of my life, instead of, just spending all this time. Because I think the opposite side, at least for me, is like I have two choices. I can either deal with the anxiety, which is scary, or I can spend my life trying to, like, I can spend all of my time making my life like manageable, so that my anxiety is manageable. And not that that's like, I think take the steps you need to take, but like I don't want to augment my entire life so that I can kind of like live in a bubble so that my anxiety doesn't flare up. I don't want to do that. I want to just like, locate the anxiety and destroy it. Search and destroy.
Destroy.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
And so like, for me, like that's a journey that I'm on right now. Even just like trying to, take those pressures and those things that I put on myself off.
Yes.
Even just to be okay, or to, like whatever pressure I put on myself, to perform a certain way, or, I know a lot of people struggle with public speaking, like places where you feel like, what if I mess up? What if I'm out of control? Just things like that, like taking that pressure off of like you said, what's the worst case scenario? And really getting to the root of that, because a lot of it, like, it's like, well, if I mess up, am I a failure? Am I okay? Am I even gonna, like, in my mind, I don't even always like I don't think about the after, like if
Right.
the worst happened, like it's just like, and that's the end, and Sajan
Right.
died, and he's gone. But it's like,
Oh, that would be horrible.
you know, but it's not though. Like, but in my mind, I feel like the cause for anxiety is like, because if this happens, like I might as well have died.
Wow.
And it's not true though.
No.
Like, you talk to anybody that's like 75, or you'll be like, they've been through a lot of crap.
Wow.
And they survived, you know.
Expectation and anxiety seem to go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
We have this ridiculous expectation of ourselves that no one else has, speaking from my own life at least,
Yeah.
that is not attainable,
Yeah.
especially in music or whatever. Like, I have this expectation that I'm going to be this.
Yeah.
And this doesn't exist. Here's like the realm of the best people in the world, and here's me, you know?
Yeah.
And so when we fail every time, because I'm set myself up to fail, then like it's like we put ourselves through way more punishment
Yeah.
and way more torture mentally and than anyone else ever would.
Yeah.
And then there's like this, it's like, for me, it's like this never ending long list of things I failed at.
Yeah.
And it's like also, like you said, this just constant thing going on in the background. It's like this subliminal thing that I didn't know that I'm just destroying myself with.
Mm-hmm.
Parents raise children based off of that. This going on in the background of their own life. Like, it's just like, this is welcome to our society.
Yeah.
We are constant failures, and we don't even recognize we're treating ourselves this way, and then we're projecting it on everyone else around us because they're failing. Because if we're not doing good, we can't let them do good. Or like, I mean, you could go on forever about that, but I just feel like that is so crazy.
I know. I realized that about my the way, like my mindset and the way I was thinking. A similar thing. It was like, if I, and it's hard because like sometimes you can live your whole life and not realize that that's like the way that you think. At least for me.
Yes.
I lived 22 years and didn't realize that. I was like, why do I think that if I don't measure up to this ridiculous expectation of success, which defines success anyway.
Yeah, please, someone show me what that means.
But if I don't live up to this, then I'm a failure.
Wow.
And I just choose to live in that for 22 years. Like, I don't know.
What made the difference? What allowed you to step out of that?
Having really real, really good community, people that were willing to call the BS in my life and be like, man, you're not trying to get over this. Like, that's anxiety, and that's not good.
Exactly. There it is.
Because that will actually just destroy your life if you let it. And be people who will just like call the BS and be like, that's not dealing with the anxiety, you're just coping. Like, people calling out coping, because like that's the other thing, like making your life manageable. I feel like the word you just say is just coping, and everybody will find a way to cope with
100%.
you know, because you can't survive it. Like there's got to be a way to cope unless you deal with it. And so for me, being around a community of people who are like, I think it was three main things: community of people who will call things what they are, call it the BS, and you know, love, and thirdly, love you no matter what. So like, even if you are, you know, coping, I'll be like, I love you, I accept you, I just want to be with you, because that like helped me lift all the pressure off. But we're still willing to be real and be like, hey, I honestly don't think that this is good for you. I honestly don't think, you know, make your own decision. But
right,
you know, I think people, because we're so isolated nowadays, so
yeah,
people have made a massive, massive difference in my life. That, and then I would say, my relationship with God has changed everything. Like, and I think that personally in my life, like you said with the social media thing, we're constantly inundated with information. A lot of it is like not information that's helping us.
Right.
It's just adding to the chaos that's going on in our minds. So like, for me, taking time to like, I read my Bible, and like for me taking time to like actually get invested in like have something that's going to like influence the way that my mind works and influence the patterns and the way that I interpret information, is as we speak, like during these weeks, I've really tried to focus on that recently. Like I can see a noticeable difference in me just by limiting the amount of garbage that I let come into my brain, and then being very intentional about putting good things in my brain. And good things being like positive, beneficial things, like reading scripture, reading things that are like, and really trying to not just read it for the sake of reading it, but actually have it get in me.
Yes.
I feel like that is producing a tangible, like it's like reformatting my brain. Which is maybe a weird way to say it.
No,
but
not
like,
at all.
but it is like, I just know that it's making an impact on my life. And I think just being very intentional about like getting that on the inside of me, because it's like it all stems too from how I interpret what I do with the things that I take. I have a choice that I get to make, And so making my choice easier to
Wow.
you know, to kind of belittle the anxiety until it's just like, oh, because I don't feel like I feel like you're gonna have the choice to be anxious. It's always there, but then you get there and you're like, oh, I see what this is.
Right.
This is anxiety. This is, and I have a choice, and I'm going to choose this thing, and just whatever I need to do to make that choice easier.
Yeah, because you get exactly what you said. You get to see it for what it is instead of just like, I think two things. One, putting handles on or giving handles for what this is. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is anxiety.
Yeah.
Instead of it roaming around freely in my brain, and then going, oh, actually, you don't get to have this power over me.
Mm-hmm.
My experience is counseling and everything you said.
Yeah,
Friends,
counseling too.
All of that stuff, because it's equipping us to know, oh, actually, you don't actually have the power over me.
Yeah.
I don't have to live this way. I don't have to think this way. I don't have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's game over, because then you don't have to be controlled by.
Yeah.
Like people nowadays, like you said a little bit ago about coping, I don't think people even recognize they're doing it most of the time. It's just the one thing that if they really thought, I think if people really thought about it, they'd go, oh, this just makes you feel better. Well, why do you feel bad? Mm-hmm. No one even goes there. Well, what's causing that? You know what I mean? So then learning, oh, all of these things are connected, and I don't have to live with anxiety. I don't have to.
Yeah.
And allowing it to be actually this little thing that it is, and not be this blaring voice in our head is one, not easy.
Yeah.
I've been in counseling for 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And just for the record, counseling is not magic. It's the people that want to do the work and love themselves enough. Just saying.
It's like, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, because I wanted to mention that too, like, because counseling's been super helpful for me, as you know. Yeah. And like, but like you said too, like, it isn't magic in the sense of like, you can't just go there and get better, but they are, for me, it like helped to be like, to recognize the things that maybe I didn't recognize just in and of myself. To have someone who's removed from the situation to be like, that's actually that's anxiety, and then to like give tools. Like, you still have to use the tools.
Right.
Like, if you can't just like be given the tools and hold them and expect everything to go away. But like,
well, yeah, because I think, at least in my experience in counseling, in just like stepping outside of the box of quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
Because counseling isn't normal. It's not, we can take care of our, go to the doctor to see ourselves, but no, heaven forbid, we take care of our mental state.
So important.
Which is like, to me, it's so simple. It goes down to like every crazy event, Hitler to the school shootings. I bet you $1 million all has to do with their parents, how they grew up, what was going on in their head. Mm-hmm. But yet we don't deal with that, because that's just like, blah, blah, blah. You don't go to counseling unless your marriage is falling apart, or
arguably like the most important. It's so important. Like, I think more important than, sorry, just continue.
Well, anyways, I forgot what I was going to say, but I just think it's so incredibly profound. And as long as the people are willing to do the hard thing, which is hear the truth.
Yeah.
Because I think if a good counselor, to me, a good counselor is someone who goes like this: look, here's what you've been living in. Here's another option that is actually probably a lot healthier. Mm-hmm. Most people don't ever want to leave this camp because it's comfortable and they've never been faced with, oh, this is the other option.
Yeah.
But then taking the step of actually, because essentially by doing that is, no, I'm worth it. I'm going to draw boundaries. I'm going to learn how to not like everything you've been saying with dealing with anxiety and expectations and living free. Mm-hmm. But it's like I wanted to hang on to this life that I thought was so good. Yeah. That my marriage after 4 years was like, we sat down and we're like, I think that I just want to be done. Let's just call it quits. Not like a, some like emotional conversation. It was like legitimate. Should we end this now?
Yeah.
And instead we decided, hey, let's go to counseling and just see what they have to say. And it's like, oh, there's something outside of this little circle that's way better.
Wow.
Anyways,
seriously,
I just wish I could like take everyone in the world and put them in the room.
It's so worth the jump.
Oh, bro.
Because we build it. We build this is comfortable.
Yeah, and it's our stories we write over and over again.
Yeah, but it's not always like that, because if you don't deal with your stuff, it's just making your life it's just managing all the crap instead of getting out of the crap.
Wow.
I don't want to live my life in a garbage dump.
No, man. And it's like the Matrix almost.
Yeah.
Where like we just think this is normal and then we become Neo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it feels like to me, like as silly as that is. And it's like, wait a minute, what? There's a world outside of this? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to like the video and comment down below your thoughts. I would love to know them. As always, I have no saying right now. So blah, 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 blah. The next one. Yeah, dog. I'll see you in the next one, dude. I mean, what am I supposed to say at the end? This is literally my first video, so I'm gonna hate it either way. I'm fine. Totally fine. Okay, see you later.